Welcome back to Packs and Picks, and welcome to our first sealed deck overview for Avatar: The Last Airbender. As you might guess from the card that's sitting up on the table here, I ended up with a base red and white deck that I'll go ahead and set up right now. We'll talk through some of the things that I like about this build and some of the decisions I had to make along the way. So we'll start with the creatures. Just going to lay this out by mana cost, and then we'll get into some of the decisions that I had to face as I was doing deck building. All right, so we got ourselves a red and white build here. Don't be confused by the blue mana pips you see. We were using them mainly just as white creatures in Sokka and the Cat Owl. But one of the things that drew me towards white-red, and actually just drew me towards white, was all the interaction. So we've got a lot of removal or interaction in white. So we have things like Razor Wings here at 2 cost, Path to Redemption. We've also got Airbending Lesson we can use to bounce one of our opponent's creatures or permanents. And we also have the Earth Kingdom Jailer in the 3-drop slot that also interacts with our board. And then to complement that, I did like some of the red in the pool. So we've got Firebending Lesson, Lightning Strike, some classic burn spells out of red. So I did like the interaction in red and white, which is what drove me towards this color pair. One of the things I also liked was we had a decent amount of ally synergies. So we've got 2 Kyoshi Warriors, we've got the Avatar Enthusiasts. So we also got the Sun Warriors here that can make us an ally if needed. So a little bit of that ally sub-theme coming through in the white creatures that we have in this pool. Now, one of the colors that I really wanted to try to make work was black. And that's because, if you might remember, one of our mythics was Ko the Face Stealer. So 6 cost, double black pips. I really wanted to try to make black work. But in our pool, I felt like this was really the best card in our black. And our black cards really fell off pretty quickly. And so it was hard for me to justify this as a splash, especially with the 2 black pips. We've got a lot of double white in our build so far. So I felt like the double black might have been just a little too much, given the strength of the rest of our black cards in the pool. So I bet there's a way to get a black version of this pool out of these cards, but that's why Ko is going to stay in the sideboard, at least for the main build of this pool. Now, another one of our cards that we had, a black card actually, was Fire Lord Zuko. So only 1 black pip and in the Mardu colors. So this one does make sense to be a splash, but it's a 3 cost 2/4, and it does give us firebending. We don't have a lot of combat tricks or ways to cash in on that extra mana from firebending. Now, we don't have to have it all the time, but I didn't want to rest all my assessment on putting Zuko in the deck based on the firebending. And then the second ability, casting things from exile or things that come in from exile. We didn't have a lot of airbending in our deck to leverage with Firelord Zuko. Now, if we go up against an opponent that has a lot of airbending, we could bring Firelord Zuko in from the sideboard because we do have a little bit of mana fixing in the form of things like Bender's Waterskin. And we did have a Boiling Rock Prison, so I could see playing against a lot of airbending, we could bring in Zuko to help us get a little bit more advantage from recasting those cards that are coming in from exile. Also from the sideboard, we do have Price of Freedom and Boomy Bash, so if we've got a lot of earthbending that we're facing against, we've got some land interaction that we have in those cards if for those green mages that we face up against. The other option that I could definitely see taking this deck that I didn't go with for the main build was going more green-white and splashing something like Katara the Fearless. So I mentioned we had a decent number of allies, so she's going to get us more value from all those triggers from our allies if we choose to go green-white. I felt like there was enough in the green side to go green-white, but for just the main build, I liked more of the interaction of the red that we had instead of like the earthbending that was coming out of green. So I think you could go with Katara the Fearless, and we did have a Kyoshi Village in the pool to help us with our mana fixing if we went green-white. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on our first sealed deck for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let me know in the comments what you think of this build. Would you have taken the pool in a different direction, either to get Ko in black or go green-white and get Katara? Let me know down in the comments and stick around because we got more sealed pools and sealed decks coming soon. See you then.